But I was auditing my own life and going, okay, so right now, what are the sticking points that I have that I need to streamline right now? And a lot of what started coming up for me were projects that I have not been able to finish. And I just started making a list of all of them. I was like, okay, so like here's, I've got a 1983 Mustang in the garage right now. I would love to get that thing started. It's been wanting to be started for a year now. What's holding me back from starting it? It's literally 2 to 3 things I need to go do on it out there. And if I can make that happen, I can get that thing started. Well, the minute I get that thing started, it now turns into a viable vehicle, not to drive on a daily basis, but at least I can move it. Welcome back to Life at 10 Tenths, where we inspire you to live at the pinnacle of your ability and purpose. Matt Pinelli's here with me again, and we're excited to jump into another episode with you, as we always keep these coming, new, fresh topics for you. As you're listening to this, if you're like, I want to learn more about what these guys got going on, go check us out at lifeat10tenths.com. We got all kinds of great things you can get involved with there, or go grab our app on your favorite app store. You will find it, Life at 10 Tenths, and that will give you options on how you can enter our world and be more part of what we've got going on. We got newsletters, we got all kinds of things you can get brought into your world. Matt, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you today, my friend?
I'm good. I'm actually, well, we've been talking. I mean, I think we've been on I don't know. We started, it's in California time, 6:58 a.m. right now. I've been on the phone with you since 5:45 a.m. my time.
We've been talking a lot.
And I love those mornings that we get to have that and just say like, hey, let's throw ideas at each other for about an hour, and that's where we've been. And it's been super. I actually thoroughly enjoy it. It gets my brain firing on a different level, and I love having somebody in my world that is up with me at the crack of dawn that will just toss great info back and forth.
Well, it's going to correlate a little bit to what we're going to talk about today on this episode as well, because a lot of our conversations, like, we have some fun, but we're also talking about where do we go on the next level inside the 11 circle? Where do we bring in more value to the people that we're working with? And that is amazing to have, because, and we were even talking about AI and how the conversational aspect just helps you bring out more of what's already in your head. And when you get to do it with another human being, it's really incredible, because you get to see like, hey, where are the gaps? Where are the places that we can move fast? And so I appreciate you, my friend, and in that capacity, being able to jam on this stuff with you. But it kind of leads into what we're going to talk about today, which is holes in the boat. How do we inspect for holes in our boat as markets change, as the business, changes, as we get into a busier season or we get into a lighter season, all of these things that come in, and all of a sudden something's leaking somewhere, and we're like, why is that happening? And we don't want to get caught off guard with this.
Well, we did an episode a long time ago, Matt, where we were talking about how, like, when you're up on plane in a boat, there's a very small amount of the hull that's in the water. You're moving fast, you're cranking along, and a lot of times, like, I look at this as like the market's moving really fast. You look at the market we were just in here about a year or two ago, where it's like you list a home, it's on the market for hours, and then it goes away, and we really never had a chance to like slow down and sink into the water with that client and realize that, oh my gosh, there's more questions I need to be asking and more I need to be doing. And so you just got this little part of the boat, if you can imagine that, in the water, because we're skimming across the top, we're moving fast. And then we started talking this morning about this, and we're like, but there's another side of inspecting the boat. That, like, now that, again, we slow down and the water starts to come in and little things that maybe weren't in the water before, but then you said capacity, which I thought was a great thing, which is like, now there's the other side of it of like loading the boat down with more things, more stuff, more tools, more overhead, more employees, more tricks, more gadgets, social media. We're now doing this over here. We got this going on. And all of a sudden we got this boat that is sitting very low in the water that is like maxed out. It's overloaded with stuff and things. I think there's a point there, Matt, that you got to look at, okay, we need to make this boat be able to handle all of this stuff, which there's big companies out there that have built huge cargo liners. If you think of it that way, they can handle a ton. You know, the real estate companies we're talking about right now that would be looking at like a cargo liner. And then there's the ones that are speedboats. And the speedboats, we watch people all the time, Matt, that are like, I'm going to bring all this stuff in. And then all of a sudden, like, I'm not having fun anymore. Like, this is miserable.
Yeah. Well, or even just adding personal stuff, life. I mean, we're heading into fall. A lot of you who are listening are getting started with the school routines again. Your kids are another year older. They're getting into more programs. There's more after school stuff. And so now all of a sudden, like, oh, wait, now I have to also drive my child here, and is adding more things into my calendar. Can my business also support the extra life that I'm doing? And this is where, because, hey, business is great. Before kids, it was awesome. I could work all the time. We had this conversation with Simon on the recent episode where he's like, yeah, before kids, he worked a lot. And then he brought in his assistant, his ops manager. And all of a sudden, to his surprise, he's like, I actually am able to go spend time with family. That was like the biggest benefit. He's like, I got some life back that I didn't know that I needed back. And so inspecting these holes in the boat that we don't see because that part of the boat's not in the water, Garrett. Yeah. And so let's talk about how we go around and look at that. How do we check our systems? How do we check our capacity so that we can make sure that we do have the right boat going forward into whatever market or whatever season of life we're entering?
Yeah, I think, Matt, a really good first kind of start to this is just rip out a piece of paper. Any of you can do this right now. We always warn you, if you're driving right now, please don't do that. Find a time a little bit later on the day when you can sit back and say, okay, let's analyze maybe almost like sticking points that are starting to kind of come up in our world. I know some of you might be seeing right now, it's like, oh my gosh, do we bring the stager on for another month, or do we pull all the staging out of the house? Because I'm not used to the homes being on maybe for over 30 days, and we didn't really plan on over 30 days. And actually, I was paying for all the staging, and the budget allowed for 30 days. The budget didn't allow for 60 days. Like, all of a sudden, like, I'm losing the profit of my business here because it's taken a little bit longer. What do we need to change? That might be a hole in the boat that's showing up right now that you didn't expect. There might be services that you might have said, I'm going to be offering these to my clients, that all of a sudden, again, same as that, but like, maybe I need to reevaluate. Is it valuable? Is it bringing the power to it that I really was hoping to get to give me the results that I wanted? We need to start making these lists and going down. I know a lot of people, Matt, they have totally dropped the ball on customer service calls and following through with their clients. And so what they're finding right now is they're like, I've got clients that are getting frustrated. They're looking for feedback, information. What do I give them? And then the one thing I ask always, are you doing customer service calls with them? And they're like, oh, that's right. I got to get better at doing those. And I'm just like, okay, that would be a hole in the boat. That would be something that we can easily address. We can easily fix. But first off, we just need to look at, what are the sticking points? What are the things that are starting to show up more and more and more, where I'm going, okay, that's a potential issue. This is a potential issue. You got to make a list of that before you can do anything with it. You got to acknowledge where the problems are. You got to find the holes in the boat.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you brought up customer service calls, because that is like the biggest hole that I see people have. It's also one of the most frustrating, because it's like, well, that's another point of communication that I need to add into my routine. And so when you take in a system like that and you compare it to capacity, if you're already running 100 miles an hour and not doing customer service calls, all of a sudden we add another thing in. And from a coaching standpoint, it's obvious to us, like, yes, let's have that conversation. To the end user, and I get this, I don't have the time. I'm already talking to my clients and all these other points. Like, how do I actually bring that in? How do I fit that into my capacity? Because I feel like I'm overwhelmed. And this is where we need to be honest with ourselves and say, well, what can we do? So first step, for sure, write down all of these things. Where are the things that we potentially are missing? And then look at what you are currently doing. What is currently existing in my world that is overloading me, that is pushing me to my ends? And how do I start to combine some things? This is where, like, a time audit, Garrett.
Yep.
Time audits are so important. I try to do them once a quarter and just kind of go back and look at, hey, how am I using my time? Am I batching things together appropriately? Am I going spread out? Am I using too much time over here? A great way to do this, actually, I mean, there's tools and apps and you can use a spreadsheet, but another fun way to do it is just create a separate Google Calendar in your Google account, and you can just log what you do throughout the day in the calendar, and then you can select like a category and it'll tell you how much time you spend in all of these things. It actually does the analysis for you, which is pretty cool. So you have all these things, Garrett, that are like, I think these are holes. Now we have our time audit here and we can start to then merge, okay, what systems do I need to adjust or bring in, and how do I map that with my capacity? I mean, I'm not saying this is easy, but this does need to be done.
Well, again, it needs attention. And I think anything that is a smooth running machine, you need to do maintenance on it. You got to take a step back and be like, okay, we need to look at this from a place of like, at some point, this thing will completely blow up if we don't change the oil in it every once in a while. Look at the belts. Look at like, how is this thing running? Like, we need to do that every once in a while. And is it boring? Yeah. Is it the fun part of the business? No, it's not the fun part of the business. But I know for like myself, Matt, I just did this just this morning before I actually got on the phone with you. It's funny, we started at 5:45. I was going earlier than that for myself. But I was auditing my own life and going, okay, so right now, what are the sticking points that I have that I need to streamline right now? And a lot of what started coming up for me were projects that I have not been able to finish. And it's not business actually related projects. It is totally hobbies and house projects. And I just started making a list of all of them. I was like, okay, so like here's I've got a 1983 Mustang in the garage right now. I would love to get that thing started. It's been wanting to be started for a year now. What's holding me back from starting it? It's literally 2 to 3 things I need to go do on it out there. And if I can make that happen, I can get that thing started. Well, the minute I get that thing started, it now turns into a viable vehicle, not to drive on a daily basis, but at least I can move it. At least I can take it and get it to a new location that I want to get it to. Then it works for me to actually, help my hobbies out, which is racing. But these 3 little things, unless I go, oh, that is the hole in the boat on that project right now. It is valve springs, pulleys, and I got some electrical work I need to do. Those 3 little things. And funny is it's not a lot of time, but by taking the time to slow down, look at where those problems are, I can now acknowledge them. I can come up with a plan around it. I can look at this weekend coming up and go like, okay, where's some time I can allocate this weekend to going and getting those parts that I need, taking care of those things on the list, and making sure that thing's done. Because when that thing's checked off, oh my gosh, you don't realize it, but these unfinished things, the stuff that is weighing you down, the holes in the boat in your life, are literally anchors. They are horrible anchors in your world, because every single time you walk past it, every single time around it, your brain goes, that's a problem. That is bothering me that it's not done. It's bothering me that it's not completed. I would love to be every time my neighbor goes, is the yellow beast running yet? I'm like, no, Ed, it's not. So come on, man, what are you waiting for? I don't love having that conversation. That doesn't raise my energy up about how excited I am to be working into doing that. It actually is an anchor in my energy. So it's like, by acknowledging these things that are slowing us down, that are holes in the boat. Matt, as you said, is it fun? No. But that acknowledging it and realizing it allows you to move past it and find solutions to it. And that's a smooth running machine when you can get all those things started to be taken care of. Because I've got a lot of anchors right now. I'll be honest. I got lots of projects that are anchors that's why I took the time this morning to build them all out.
Yeah. Oh, man. I love the concept of anchors, because the mental weight that comes with these things is a lot more significant than we recognize, and getting it out on paper helps, because then you can prioritize. I think prioritizing the holes is important, because you can then determine, do I need to throw some Flex Seal on this hole just to get it so that I'm not leaking anymore? And then I can do the, full fiberglass remodel later on.
I need to step in here for a second. By the way, I have yet to find a use for Flex Seal. I've tried it. I've experimented with it.
Well, the bottom of the boat, the commercials, the screen door, and you just spray it, and now you have
That's
a boat.
one of those commercials. I have a lot of self-talk when I see it that it's not positive. Sorry for interrupting.
But, like with the Mustang, right? You're not going to throw on a bad part just to get it running. That's something that needs this, but you also understand the capacity of it. Like, okay, I'll use another example. In our powder room downstairs, we painted it blue. We hired somebody to paint, and like, it's gorgeous, it's awesome. But behind the toilet, they didn't paint. Why? Because the toilet's against the wall, right? You can't fit something under there. And so in the back of my head, I'm like, well, they should have just drained the toilet, took the thing off, and painted, right? But that wasn't part of their process, right?
It's 2 bolts.
So now it's been my mental anchor. Every time I go in there, I see a little bit of white. And it's like, it won't take me long to do it, but I haven't sat down and listed out that as a project, as a hole in my boat that exists, and saying, how do I fit this in? Because it'll take me 15 minutes on a weekend to do that. I have the paint. It's not that hard to remove the back of a toilet. But it's just getting it laid out. So this is the next step, is taking all these holes and saying, okay, how do I want to prioritize this? What can group together? And where am I going to address this? Because if it's a systems flaw, you can correct that probably with, a series of actions. It's not going to be a recurring thing necessarily, unless it's adding in a recurring action. But from a systems point of view, like a customer service call, okay, we're adding in a recurring action, but what is the hole? The hole usually is, I don't know how to do a customer service call. I don't have a framework on how I'm going to guide that conversation, and I don't have the email template that I'm going to send out afterwards. Okay, great. Now that you know that that's the hole, you can plan on building that system so that, if I just follow, the gear framework, goals, environment, action stage, and then what's the road ahead, I create that into an email template. Now I have everything I need to conduct my customer service call and then send them the update right afterwards. I'm adding a recurring meeting into my world, but it's also, by doing that, going to remove a lot of these other conversations that slow me down. So by taking care of this hole, adding this recurring thing, I've just increased my capacity.
Yep.
Which is a beautiful thing when you look at it that way, and you've lifted an anchor. So once I get that bathroom done, I don't worry about it anymore. It's not something I need to do. It's done, right? I don't need to think of how to do my customer service calls. I created the framework. I wrote it out. I have the process. It's done. Now I just go and engage it. And if I miss a customer service call one week, no big deal. I pick it up the next week. I don't have to go recreate the process.
I do want to know who your professional painter is, by the way, because that is the types of stuff that makes my OCD go off the charts. And I can't wait to come to your house, because I will ridicule you.
For those of you who were with us when we were doing a lot of the stuff, notice my room's complete. This is the one that I did.
I hope Jen listens to this.
I just want to say, this is done.
If Matt disappears, it's because his wife has taken him out. Oh, okay. So I think it's interesting too, Matt, because this is a systems check all the time, because you can implement something right now and go, okay, I've got the organization now to do my customer service calls, and the market will continue to grow. Things will continue to happen. Your business will continue to move along. And all of a sudden you're going to have a moment where you go, oh, that's weird. I stopped doing my customer service calls. Well, why did I stop doing my customer service calls? Well, my listings were selling before the end of the week, or this was happening so fast, or this changed. That's interesting, because now we have a breakdown of a system again that we know that creates great communication and keeps us totally on point with the people that we're working with. But now we have a breakdown again. Okay, how do we fix that? How do we solve for it? So I think the interesting thing is sometimes we feel like, okay, that system is fixed, it's done, check the box, we never have to worry about it again. And this is where it's like, we need to do this routine maintenance where we circle back around and sit down and say, okay, let's look at the month of August coming up here. What are the potential holes in the boat that maybe we're not paying attention to? Looking at July, what were holes in the boat that maybe showed up that we weren't preparing for? maybe it's the first time you had kids that were actually on summer break out of school, and you fell into this love with, oh my gosh, I get my days back. The kids go off to school. This is great. And all of a sudden summer hits and you go, what are they doing to me? All of a sudden, all these systems don't work anymore. My schedule's all screwed up. And I was just talking to a mom the other day, and she was like, I'm not committing to anything until I get my kids back in school. The minute they come back into school, Garrett, I want to do this. I want to do this with you. I want to do this with you. But no, not right now. Because you could just tell her systems, her stuff, what she could add in, her boat was maxed out right now. And I think those are those analysis times of like, do we improve the boat to add more stuff on right now and to fix it up? Or is it like, you know what? I got this boat that I love. I know what its max capacity is. I've got all these things and I'm cool. And at some point here, we're going to offload some stuff. I can unload some new cargo and we can move along as we go through these next 9 months or so. These are just being aware of your business, being aware of your time, being aware of what your capacities are. Because I know a lot of people just beat the crap out of themselves, Matt, when they're like, why can't I do it all? And I'm like, your boat's not big enough. Well, and that's okay a lot of times too. It's not, I'm not saying you got to go build an ocean liner. Just
there's no right answers.
There's being aware. There's being aware.
Yes. You need to be aware and understand that the choice is yours, right? The choice is mine to get the bathroom done. I just need to choose to actually build it into my schedule. Could I say, well, I love my boat. It's at capacity and like, I'm just not going to do that right now. I could, but it's still an anchor on me. And you have to decide like what anchors are you going to lift and which ones are you going to cut away? Because there are also things that are probably weighing you down that maybe just don't even need to be in your world. And this isn't a systems thing. This is a mental capacity, awareness, releasing things into the world and accepting things kind of process, which this is probably one of the hardest things to do because your brain I'm going to just pull this thing back into my world. It's like, I thought you released that. It's like, yeah, but then I was thinking at night and this thing just looped right back in. And so this is where you look at, well, what is the system to help you keep that away? How are your affirmations? How are your gratitudes? Garrett, we were talking about affirmations this morning, right? Because we were talking about process and we were talking about affirmations. You were talking about all this work that you've been doing on it, which I think is amazing because if you can reprogram your brain, that's how you can cut anchors off. Physically just saying, oh, I'm not going to do that. Like, I know I'm not cutting the anchor off of that wall because I'm going to see it every time I go in the bathroom. Like there's just no way that that's getting cut. It needs to be lifted and I will lift it at some point. In fact, we are now putting a plan in place. Sometimes adding something into your world actually will help you lift anchors because we're going to be hosting a life group for our church. And Jen's like, well, we need to finish up some of these things. Like we need to paint that. And I was like, yeah, if we're going to have people in our house every week, that would probably be nice to have the wall painted. So sometimes bringing something in will also spring you into action to realize that there is more capacity there than you have. You just need to restructure how things are working. I hope that makes sense, Garrett.
Well, no, and I think like what you're talking about there's an interesting domino effect that happens. And there's a domino effect in the way of you going, okay, I'm creating something here that's now making me take care of these pieces out here. The other side, I'm continuing to think about my car in the garage of going like, well, is it just me setting time aside? Well, it's not actually just me setting time aside. There's been some changes in my world that has put more stuff in my garage than normal for right now. So it's not just this yellow car sitting there in this wide open, expansive garage. It's a car that is like packed in on both sides with furniture and other things. And it's just like, so there's this domino effect of like, okay, if it's truly important for me to get that car going, and use the car analogy, guys, as anything in your business. So you're like, I need to work on that. You can call it a real estate review or whatever you want to call it. Whatever it might be that you're sitting there and you're stuck on, and you're going, I need to fix this. Well, what are the pieces around it that are maybe stopping me from taking action on it? Because what I really need to do is I either need to pull the car out of the garage, or I need to address all the stuff that's around it. Because a lot of it is just a dump run. Like a lot of it, Sarah would kill me, by the way, but there's every once in a while I'm like, I know she says there's a use for this in the future, but
This is
it
an
might
episode
be in
our
the
wives shouldn't listen to, apparently.
it might be in the landfill. That's where it might be. But some of that stuff, it's like, okay, that's the domino effect for me. So it's not just these little things on the car that's stopping this from happening. Like I'm literally sitting here looking at like all the stuff that is sitting around that car in my mind right now and going, okay, well, what if I cleared that stuff out? Would it all of a sudden give me more freedom and more energy to step in that space and go, okay, we're going to now handle this project? Real estate reviews are, again, a great example. We refer to them as market impact reports at Life at 10 Tenths. And it's this opportunity to go and members sit down with your clients and go through their real estate with them. I know a lot of you have these roadblocks around this, and maybe your roadblock is the fundamental pieces of how do I create? Maybe it's how do I schedule? Maybe it's I don't have any extra time in my calendar right now because I'm so cluttered with this. Imagine the garage. I have all these other things, all this other stuff, all these things that need my attention because I'm running so inefficiently, maybe with some of these other things out here, it's actually stopping this thing from happening. It's not it being the problem itself. It's maybe the clutter in your schedule around it of going like, why am I distracted with this and this and that? What if I could free up those things and now all of a sudden I've got time to go do that activity? Yeah. This is that self-analysis. This is this time to break it all down and get clear.
And this is the layer of excuses that sits on top of analyzing the holes, looking at capacity because it's, well, I don't have time in the calendar. Well, I can't work on the car because I got the stuff in the garage. Well, it's hard to paint the wall when the toilet's in the way. Or I can't do my customer service calls because I don't have a framework, or I'm not doing the market impact reports because I don't have a template. And we have to address the excuses first. Take the excuse that exists. What excuse are you using to not attack that? And say, how do I address that? How do I solve that excuse? Because if you solve that, that then opens up capacity. It opens up the opportunity for choosing Flex Seal or fiberglass to repair the hole in the boat. And I think we do get to this space of, because I could see myself or somebody listening go, well, that's great, Matt and Garrett, but you don't understand. I have this in my calendar. Okay, great. If that is there, is that an excuse that's stopping you, and how might you solve for that excuse?
Well, I think it goes to how bad do you want to do this other activity? Because yes, I hear you going, yeah, but Garrett, Matt, you don't understand. I could easily look at my garage and go, yeah, but you don't understand. Like for me to then get the dump trailer over here to get everything out, to take it to the dumps, that's easily a solid afternoon of working through all that. And I got to find that time and this. Yeah, I get it. How badly do you want to have the car running? How badly do you want to have that system working? We've all got our own issues, our own stuff, our own goals, our own things that we want to accomplish. And your unique list of excuses are unique just to you. You either get to choose to accept them and say, that is my excuse of why I'm not going to do this, or you get to find a path around that excuse if you choose to. That's up to you.
Yeah.
And we will allow you to own whatever excuses you want. That's the beauty of them. They're your excuse. It's okay.
Yeah, they are. And I mean, I need more time. I need more money. I need more whatever. Yeah. And I think this is the choice that needs to be made, I think, on all of this to unlock the opportunity for you to either repair the holes or just accept that they're there, which is great. That I need whatever in order to do X. If you do, and that is slowing you down, then you do need to address it. Or you need to let go of that goal or opportunity. Because if you're not going to address it, you're not going to accomplish that goal that you want. If you're not going to address the garage, you're not going to fix the car. If I'm not going to address the toilet, I'm not going to paint the wall. And you have to choose. And there's no right answer. And this is probably the hardest conversation because a lot of times people are choosing between good things. You're choosing between this thing that I like and this thing that I like. That's a hard choice to make. Well, once you make it, though, you're free.
For all of you right now, and again, this is the opportunity. We've done a lot of work. We're a little over halfway through the year. We've been working with a lot of people about building the best second half of their year they can have. These are great moments. There's just kind of checkpoints as you go through the year to kind of take this time to stop and say, okay, what are the holes in the boat right now? Where am I anchored down? What do I need to be working on? What are my excuses that I might have around this that are stopping me from taking forward action? Am I willing to accept them? And if you're not, then come up with a plan. Come up with a way you can address it, some way you can move forward. You might need to talk to people. You might need to bring in a mentor. You might need to bring in a coach. You might need to bring in somebody. You might have to have a sit down with your sales manager and be like, hey, this is where I'm stuck right now, and can you help me? These are your opportunities if you choose to have them. And I think anybody who's in growth mode, who is looking back at years and they're going, wow, look at what we accomplished this year. Look at where we were to where we went to. They have to have this type of mentality and this type of mindset in their world and their life. Otherwise, you can just go to very status quo all the time, and kind of repeating the same year over and over and over again, never really growing. And it's a really important skill, I would say, to sharpen. And it's maintenance. Yeah, it's not the fun stuff, Matt.
It's not. But here is the cool part, though. Once you start doing it and you accomplish the big maintenance, because we haven't done it in a while, the regular maintenance gets a lot easier to do, and it won't slow you down. You'll be able to identify holes. There'll be smaller holes. You'll be able to patch them up. The Flex Seal will work in those capacities.
God, stop going back to Flex Seal. Jeez.
Hatred for the product. And you don't have to do it alone. That's the beautiful part. And if you guys want to come along on that journey, like, we're here to help you. We're here to go step by step with you through whatever it is. And we have programs for that. Like, you can come join our 11 Circle, a group program. People ask a lot, Garrett. I had 2 conversations last week. They're saying, well, am I going to be able to get the attention in that program that I would with one-on-one? And the short answer is, well, no, not necessarily. However, it's not a group program that is designed to just go in and consume content and then go do it. It's designed to help you actively work through what's going on. And that's how we organize our group coaching calls every single week, so that you are truly being coached. It's not a content program that is labeled as a coaching program. It is a true coaching program, and our members are getting so much value out of working together through it. So if you want that, we have the 11 Circle for you. You have something to add to that?
Well, I was going to say, just to give somebody an example, we had a great question, and the way we work it is inside the community. The people that are part of the 11 Circle can throw in there, like, I want help with this. I just need to discuss this. And there was a great question that was thrown into the comments here this last week, and it was talking about, I've got somebody who wants to do a buy and a sell with me, and they're upfront asking for a discount or some way that they can, maybe because they're going to do 2 deals with me. And it was cool, Matt, because we threw it into the group. We threw it into this group. We had about 20 plus people on, and it was fun to have people go, okay, so like, have you done a full consultation up front yet? Have you figured out what they're really trying to accomplish? And it was interesting to hear her go, no, I haven't. We're like very much in the preliminary stages. And then other people's breakdowns of like, well, like, do you have a list of services, or like, do you have a way that you can say like, oh my gosh, like, it could be this, it could all be up to this. It depends on what you need. Well, I never thought about that. I took so many notes from all the way down to like, what if you charge an hourly fee? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Instead of doing a commission, like a flat out commission on sales price, to be like, I can work this in 10 different ways for you, but I got to know what's important to you. And that's what kept coming out of it at the very end. And it was really fun. We spent probably 20 minutes just kicking that topic around. And so many experienced agents throwing in like, here's how I've dealt with that in the past. Here's how I've handled it. What if you do this? That's the power of the group coaching side that a lot of people don't understand until they get a chance to be in it. And I think everybody walked away with a page of notes, whether they were been doing this for 15, 20 years to being brand new and going like, oh my gosh, I never even thought about doing that. That was fun to watch that play out.
It was really cool. And what's even better is we believe in try before you buy. So you can get a 7-day trial for the 11 Circle and get on one of these group calls to see if it is something that you would enjoy, because sure, it may not be for everybody. And for those who want the content, we got something there for you too. We got the Inside Track, which is outrageously affordable. That's filled with extra content, podcast bonuses, things to help you get through each and every day. There is content posted every single day inside that portion of the community. We even have live sessions that happen every week in there, which is really cool. So they're like more of a win the morning gratitude and get amped up for the week kind of thing. But a lot of value. I'm so proud of this community that we built, Garrett, cool. And I'm so excited. Now we're over a year into doing this, and I didn't know what it was going to come out to be. And I know we're just getting started with this, but I'm just so proud of it. Like, that's why I wanted to share a little bit more about it on the end of this episode today, because I want people to know about it, because I know that they're going to get value out of it. I know that they're going to enjoy it. And so we'd love to invite you guys into that world. Just go to lifeat10tenths.com, download the Life at 10 Tenths app, and through either of those mediums, you'll find information about all the things that are there, because we would love to be with you on your journey and make it yours, because we truly want you guys to live at the pinnacle of your ability and purpose, because at the end of the day, business is great, but we want you to have a life that you love, and because we're doing that too. We're on that journey with you. And so why not work together on it? So
love it, man.
Thank you guys. I mean, didn't know that we were going to run into those things today, but that's the beauty of the way Garrett and I run these podcasts. We just kind of like, all right, let's just record and dive on in. So
see where we go. Well, yeah. Matt, thank you, sir. We appreciate all of you tuned in. Come back again, spend time with us. Until then, we will see you all soon.
Take care, guys. See you on the next episode.